In the 1920s, the First World War just finished, and Canada's music changed because of it. Orchestras that survived the war were re-established and introduced. There are also faculties and schools of music that were available in universities such as University of Toronto and McGill University. The 1920s also introduced Canada's first radio stations where music would be played. The very first in Canada was the XWA, standing for Experimental Wireless Apparatus. It was scheduled to broadcast in May, and it changed its name to CFCF, standing for Canada's First, Canada's Finest. In the 1920s, Murray Adaskin was a popular musician. Born in 1906, he was a violinist and composer and was born in Toronto. He played for the Toronto Symphony Orchestra for 10 years, starting in 1923. He was also the head of Department of Music at the University of Saskatchewan. Though most of his achievements are in the later decades, his career started in the 1920s. Next is a concert group called the Dumbbells. They were created during World War I as they were all soldiers and started the band to entertain and lift the spirits of the other soldiers in the trenches. Eventually, they merged with another group called Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry Comedy Company. Members of this band included Al Plunkett, Ross Hamilton, Frank Brayford, Bill Tennant, Burt Langley, Alan Murray, and Jack Arr from the original Dumbbells, and Jack McLaren, Fred Fenwick, Albert Newman, Charlie McLean, and Fraser Allen from the Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry Comedy Company. Unfortunately, they disbanded in 1932 because of the Great Depression. Another famous orchestra is the Heartstring Quartet, which was formed in 1924. There were 3 violinists, Geza de Crez, Milton Blackstone, and Harry Adaskin, and cellist Boris Hamburg. They had many international and national tours and became internationally known. Despite their success, the quartet ended in 1945. In the 1930s, the Great Depression affected many musicians as there was less work and demand for music. However, many musicians started their career in the 1930s. During the Great Depression, people would listen to jazz music. Guy Lombardo began his career in 1924 in London, Ontario. He played the violin and created an orchestra with his brothers, Libert and Carmen, and another musician named Freddie Kurtzowicz. They then changed their easy listening band to Guy Lombardo and his Royal Canadians. Their slogan was, "The sweetest music this side of heaven." In 1930, they were America's top dance band. In their career, they sold 300 million records. In 1978, Guy Lombardo was inducted in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame and also given a star on Canada's Walk of Fame. Next is La Bolduc, or Mary Rose Anna Travers, who was born in 1894. She was taught by her father to play the fiddle, accordion, harmonica, spoons, and Jew's harp. She is considered to be Quebec's and Canada's first solo singer-songwriter. In December 1929, she boosted her career by releasing a song entitled La Cuisinière, which sold over 1,200 copies. Despite a life full of poverty and miscarriages, her songs were happy and lively. Hank Snow was born in Nova Scotia in 1914. He is considered Canada's greatest contribution to country music. He was nicknamed the Yodeling Ranger after releasing his 2 songs, Lonesome Blue Yodel and Prisoned Cowboy. He then changed his name to Hank the Singing Ranger in 1944 after he stopped yodeling. He helped launch Elvis Presley's career and is in the American Country Music Hall of Fame as well as the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. Wilf Carter is another country singer also born in Nova Scotia, but considered to have founded Canadian country music. In the United States, he is known as Montana Slim. He created his own yodeling style called echo yodeling or 3-in-1 yodeling. In 1981, he toured with Hank Snow. Then in 1984, he was inducted into the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame, and in 1995 into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame.